Hi, boys and girls. As you can see, I'm dressed up kind of funny. I'm wearing some goggles to protect my eyes, and I'm wearing a plastic apron to protect my clothes. Well, it kind of looks like I'm a scientist, doesn't it? That's exactly what I'm trying to look like. Because the story that I'm going to read to you is about a girl who does a science experiment for school. And the story will kind of explain what happens with her experiment. And I'll let you decide if this story is something that could happen in real life, or is it a fantasy? Is it make-believe? The story is called June 29th, 1999. It is written and illustrated by David Wiesner and is published by Clarion books. I hope you enjoy it. I sure did when I read this for the first time.
June 29th, 1999, by David Wiesner, published by Clarion Books. The place is Hohokus, New Jersey. The year is 1999. On May 11th, after months of careful research and planning, Holly Evans launches vegetable seedlings into the sky. On May 18th, the young scientist reports on her experiment. Holly intends to study the effects of extraterrestrial conditions on vegetable growth and development. She expects the seedlings to stay aloft for several weeks before returning to Earth. Her classmates are speechless. The date is June 29th. Shortly after sunrise, a member of the Billings, Montana Moose Lodge, hiking through the Rocky Mountains, makes a startling discovery. Robert Bernabe is in a daze when he returns to camp. All he can say for the next several hours is, "Turnips!" All over the country, the skies fill with vegetables. Cucumbers circle Kalamazoo. Lima beans loom over Levittown. Artichokes advance on Anchorage. Parsnips pass by Providence. And broccoli lands with a big bounce in Holly Evans's backyard. In Autumna, Iowa, Tony Kramer emerges from his barn and shouts for joy. "At last, the blue ribbon at the state fair is mine." By mid-afternoon, all vegetables float safely to the ground. Except for the peppers. For some reason, they need a little help. TV news channels broadcast 24-hour coverage of the airborne vegetal event. Cauliflower carpets California. Spinach blankets Greenwich. And arugula covers Ashtabula. Holly is puzzled. Arugula is not part of her experiment. Vegetables become very big business. Peas from Peoria are shipped down the Mississippi to Mobile in exchange for eggplant. Real estate booms in North Carolina. Avocados bolster Vermont's economy. Potato land is wisely abandoned. The Big Apple is renamed the Big Rutabaga. Arugula, eggplant, avocado, and now rutabaga. As the list of vegetables that Holly did not plant grow longer, she concludes that the giant specimens are not the results of her experiment. More curious than disappointed, Holly asks herself, what happened to my vegetables? And whose broccoli is in my backyard? The place is the ionosphere. On June 29th, the Arcturian star cruiser Alula Borealis was touring its sixth planet in 4 days, and the captain had just pointed out the fjords of Norway off the port side. In the galley, an assistant fry cook accidentally jettisoned the entire food supply. As their vegetables drifted toward the small blue planet below, everyone on board had the same thought. Where would their supper come from?
Wow, what an interesting story. Did you catch that at the end? All those big vegetables were not hollies. They belonged to the alien spaceship that accidentally jettisoned them off the spaceship and landed on Earth. And then the aliens had no food for their next meal until they saw Holly's vegetables floating by. It all worked out for both. How cool was that? So, I asked you before the story, do you think this story is going to be real or fantasy? Obviously, it's fantasy, because we couldn't have aliens in space that we know of, right? Or what about those big vegetables? Do you think we could ever have vegetables that big? That'd be awesome if it was true. But it was a fantasy story. So, thanks for listening. I'm ready to go do some experiments. I've got some chemicals here, and I've got some chemicals here. I'm gonna go mix them together and see what happens. Have a good day, everybody.